In this lesson, we're going to be simplifying using complex or imaginary numbers. As you can imagine, we can't have imaginary numbers in our denominator. We have lots of rules about the denominator. And so we can't leave an imaginary number in the denominator. In order for me to get that out of the denominator, because I know I squared is -1, if I just times this by I, my denominator would be 5I squared, which of course is -1, so it'd really be -5. So I'd be able to eliminate that I down there. Some people want to times by 5I, which would work also, but it's a little bit more work than just multiplying by an I because you'll have to reduce later. So I'd prefer if you just multiplied by the I to be simpler. So if I multiply the bottom by I, I've got to multiply the top by I. I'm going to distribute that I in the numerator. 4 times I is 4I minus I squared. So really what this is saying is minus a -1. So I would write 4I plus 1. Nothing reduces in this fraction, so that'd be my final answer. I will say that sometimes you might see where they distribute the negative through, like I've mentioned before. So you might see it where each sign is changed. This is an equivalent expression, so you could have it either way and both answers are correct. I want you guys to try number 20, please. Hopefully you times everything by I and got this. When I replace my I squareds with -1, you'll notice that I wrote my number first. Now let's look back on this problem. Did anyone catch that we didn't do that? See how easy that was for me to write the I before the number? So really, this would have been half a point off because my order is off. I should have written 1 plus 4I over -5 because we said numbers come before I's, right? So make sure you look at that because that's very easy to forget. Here, hopefully, when you see these steps, you caught that. You might have had 2I minus 1 over 3, or you might have had -2I plus 1 over -3, as long as you have the number before the I. So if you have 1 minus 2I over -3, I would accept that also. Number 21 then, notice we have a binomial in our denominator. So we have a 3 plus 2I, two terms. Whenever it's a binomial that you're trying to get rid of something, I have to multiply by the conjugate. So the conjugate of 3 plus 2I would be 3 minus 2I. So in my numerator, I'm going to distribute that 5I and get 15I minus 10I squared divided by, and I'm going to FOIL in my denominator. So I'd have 9 minus 6I plus 6I minus 4I squared. Now, these add up to 0, and remember my I squareds are really a -1. So I'm going to have 15I plus 10 over 9 plus 4. I'm going to go ahead and flip my i's around in my numerator, so I'd write it as 10 plus 15I, and then 9 plus 4 is 13. If I was looking to reduce, what I'd be looking for is the 10, the 15, and the 13 to all divide by the same number. They don't. So this is my final answer. Last one I want you guys to go ahead and try and pause the video, and then when you're done you can take a look. So here's some work. When I FOILed up my numerator and my denominator, that's what I got. So when I combined like terms and replaced I squareds with well, here's where I replaced I squareds with -1, and then my final answer is 34 plus 8I over 61.